Hey, thanks for joining us this week. It's our look at the other top European leagues happening after this short international break. Let's start our look in Germany, where the Bundesliga is in full flow. 26 matches played here. That's your top six at the moment. Bayern Munich, as usual, in their usual position. Leipzig, the closest challengers. 4 points behind. Then you've got Wolfsburg, Frankfurt, Dortmund, and Bayer Leverkusen. This weekend, the big game is fifth versus fourth. Dortmund currently in fifth. Underperforming this season. They take on fourth place Frankfurt. Last time out, Craig Marias, Dortmund needed a 90th minute Erling Haaland equalizer against strugglers Cologne. They've underachieved this season. I mean, they're technically managerless as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, but it's been a really disappointing season for them, hasn't it? From their high standards over the last few years. You look at that team and you're just thinking, how are they falling that far behind? Everyone expected them to really be pushing Bayern Munich, especially with a couple of signings that they had. But Haaland, he's special. He's enough to bail anyone out of trouble, isn't he? And I just feel that Dortmund have especially with the rumours that are going on right now, and with Haaland possibly leaving this summer, definitely leaving next summer. I just can't see how it helps them. I really can't. I just think the whole timing of things has been awkward. From Raiola, from his father, from Dortmund. And it's just been a bit of a mess, really. And in a time when the team's struggling to get into the Champions League spots, I don't think this is helping, and I can't see this ending well for Dortmund this season. I can't see them make the Champions League, and that's my shout.
Yeah, at the moment, if you read the press, Alf and Mino are currently hawking Erling around Europe. I think they've been to Barcelona. They're probably going to land in England.
They met Madrid yesterday, I think, as well. They did Barca and Madrid, and then I think, over the next month or so, they'll be making a trip over to England. So, I mean, it's just, I've never seen anything like it. It's literally going to each club publicly. I mean, they're not even trying to hide it. It's really disgraceful. And for Dortmund, you're sitting there and thinking, all right, okay, we've probably privately agreed that he'd definitely go next summer, and I think they have a clause in there as well. But I mean, to see that happening, I mean, even as a player, you're looking at that and thinking, well, okay, where am I going to go next? Where am I going? And it just unsettles the player so much. And Dortmund cannot be happy about this. But yeah, a few injuries here and there. But Dortmund, I'm just not expecting much of them for the tail end of the season.
Yeah, Haaland's got an astonishing record. I think 49 goals in 49 matches in the Bundesliga so far. That is not... Yeah, sorry, Bob.
Can I just say something about this? Yeah, I think the only consolation of this blatant hawking to the highest bidder is that Dortmund will get the highest price, hopefully. And the only hope they have got of getting out of this impossible situation they're in with regard to Bayern Munich trying to close the gap is if they get a massive fee and then invest it wisely, as they did with Haaland in the first place, and Jadon Sancho and a few others along the line, and then actually get a group of youngsters that they can hang on to for a couple of years and then develop a top team. What they must avoid is selling Haaland to Bayern. I don't think that'll happen, but it has been suggested. But if that happened, that would really kill Dortmund off. It would be the worst thing for the fans.
Yeah, end of German football, that would be.
Just about.
All right, fifth versus fourth. Dortmund, Frankfurt is massive, but it is not the biggest game in Germany this weekend. It is second versus first. RB Leipzig against Bayern Munich. Leipzig, if they win this, they close the gap, and then suddenly it's back on again, Des Corkill. But can it happen, though?
But if they lose it, the championship is over, because the gap would be 7 points with just 7 games to play. Bayern Munich. So yeah, the season is on the line. I just got to mention the Haaland situation. Isn't another word for that called prostitution?
Wasn't sure if we're allowed to say that, but yeah.
Oh, it's a podcast. We can say what we want. Have a beer if you want.
Leipzig and Bayern Munich need to. Leipzig need to win just to rescue the reputation, I think, of German football. Because if Bayern win again and again and again, you do stop taking a serious league as seriously. So whilst we can give thumbs up to Bayern and everything that they do, Leipzig, even if it's Leipzig, who are hated by most in Germany, there needs to be some genuine opposition, be it from Dortmund or Frankfurt, who I'm glad to see up near the top of the table, or Mönchengladbach, whoever their coach is next year, or Stuttgart, if they can sort themselves out again, or if Schalke, if they can ever find somebody to win a game for them. You need a big club or two clubs to actually make it a competition, because then this is the start of the Super League, and it's not good for football. It's just not good.
Well, it was 3-3 when they played out the fixture in December, and Lewandowski shouldn't be available for Munich this weekend. So maybe Leipzig will go in with their tails up, certainly with a good chance of closing the gap. Here are your fixtures in Germany this weekend. Dortmund against Frankfurt. You've got Leverkusen, Schalke, poor old Schalke, Wolfsburg against Köln, Leipzig, Munich, and then in the UCL, of course, Dortmund away to Man City, Bayern Munich entertain PSG. Right, on to Italy we go. And this is your current situation in the Serie A at the moment with the top six. What that doesn't show is Lazio are just a point behind Roma and currently in good form. Flashes of Paul Gascoigne every time I talk about Lazio. Big game this weekend. Atalanta will take on Udinese. Atalanta are currently fourth in Serie A. They're having a good season. Atalanta have now become one of certainly the big three teams in Italy, or big four. Craig, don't you agree?
Yeah. I mean, based on the last few seasons,
they haven't got half as big a budget as the other side.
Yeah, I was just going to say, considering they don't have the luxury of going out and splashing the cash like some of those big teams. That they've done a remarkable job, and it's it's quite amazing to see how they've been performing. When they first got into the Champions League, we thought, okay, it was a bit of a fluke. They're probably going to be the whipping boys. Done fantastically well, and they've managed to maintain that, and that's always the hardest thing, maintaining those kind of standards. But they have a really interesting style of play to them, and it's quite interesting to watch. They're exciting, everything that we, Italian football, how we, think Italian football is. They're quite the other side of it. They're exciting, they're good to watch. Like you said, they're obviously missing that bit of quality when it comes down to it, which is why I don't think they'll ever be competing for the league title or anything like that. But they're good to watch. They're really good value. But still, always going to be that little bit behind your Juves and your Milans and things like that. But this is heating up really nicely, the Italian Serie A. I love it. Yeah. I like watching Inter Milan play. I think they've built a fantastic squad there, and it's good. We talk about Bayern Munich winning it, year in, year out in Germany. It's good to see that Juve have been kind of knocked off, for the time being, despite their star-studded team. And there's a new face at the top of or new team rather at the top of the league. So it's always refreshing to see. But Atalanta, tough match against Udinese, really tough match. But expect Atalanta to win at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about Juve, they're away at 17th place Torino this weekend. Now, Gazzetta dello Sport in Italy, their big sports newspaper, is reporting that should Juventus not win against Torino and Napoli, then the manager will be sacked, Bob Holmes.
Yes, well, that manager happens to be Andrea Pirlo, doesn't it? And that would be quite a headline-grabbing story if that were to happen. Yes, he's not taken to management like a duck to water, but that said, he was thrust into it with virtually no preparation or no expectation whatsoever. He was happily running his family wine business and enjoying the fruits, literally. And he was asked to take over the under-21s. And about a week later, he was asked or told to take over the first team. So his prior experience of football management, it was about 10 days. I mean, he's been around the block and back in terms of clubs. He's played for several of Italy's top clubs. So he's not exactly a greenhorn, but he hadn't managed before. And you're talking about a top club, a top international club with a lot of big names, a lot of big egos. And it's not easy for a guy who's just literally stepped from his vineyard to take over a dressing room of egos like that. And he hasn't quite done it, has he? I mean, they're up there, but they expect to be 10 points ahead of anybody else by this stage of the season. They won it, I think, 8 or 9 times in a row. And for them, it doesn't look as if they're going to do it this time. They're 10 points behind Inter and played the same number of games. So it would take a bit of a collapse by Inter. And there's also Milan in the mix there. So it's very much odds on that Juve are not going to be Italian champions this season. And the game against Torino is significant because that's their local derby. Torino is, we call it Turin in English, but it's the intercity derby, and we know how derbies can be the death knell for losing managers. You lose a derby game, you've got a very good chance of being sacked. And for him, I mean, Torino have been the poor relations for years, decades to Juve. And if they were to lose to Torino, yes, I can believe they would sack him. So I think he's a great guy. I've read his book. And I like his style. He was a great player, Pirlo. But that doesn't make a manager, doesn't make a great manager. And I think he was just plunged into it too quickly, perhaps against his better judgment, if you only know. But he might have thought, well, I'll take it because I'm not selling much wine at the moment. I mean, it was the lockdown, wasn't it? Italy was badly affected. And probably from a business point of view, it was the time to be away from the vineyard. And then if he does get sacked, he can go back again, things opening up, pick up the business again. But a sad baptism for a great guy. I hope that's not the last we see of him, if he is in fact sacked. I mean, he's by no means certain. But that's really the backstory to that game.
Yeah. Apparently, Juve have offered 400 crates of red wine for Paul Pogba. I think Ed is interested. but Des Corkill, more about this Andrea Pirlo thing. He was thrust into this, and you can't hire someone like Andrea Pirlo without having a long-term vision. Surely, A, they didn't think he would win the title in the first season, having had no experience. And B, surely they were thinking long-term past this season, right?
Yes to all of the above. But this is Italian football where I think you can say one thing. In fact, this is football. You can say one thing and a result goes the wrong way or a decision goes against you. And suddenly the fans are on your back. Social media is awash with abuse and stick, and the Italian mentality anyway, particularly surrounding the big three, is such that failure is just not accepted. And failure for Juventus means a place outside the top three. It also means losing in the Champions League. It's one of the reasons why they are one of the forerunners in this Super League catastrophe, which threatens to still engulf football. Very interesting for Juventus. You feel for Pirlo. Who would have thought that Bob would have liked an author? Huh? Who would have thought that? Exactly that. Any young manager in any industry who is thrust in as a rookie manager would expect to have corporate backing. and the corporate backing you would expect to last more than 27 or 28 games if they lose to Torino and he does actually go. Long term, what's long term in football? 3 matches, 2 matches, 1 match?
Yeah, I think just adding on from that, I think the main thing is the Champions League. I think that's for Juve, from Juve's point of view, being so successful in Serie A. They brought Cristiano Ronaldo, don't forget, purely to win the Champions League, and they've still yet to do it. So, it's one of those where I think they've come to Pirlo and said, look, don't worry about the league, just get the Champions League for the next year. But we expect, a good performance in the Champions League going all the way. And he failed to do that. He lost to Porto, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah. On away goals. And, it was a disappointing result, a very, very bad result for them. So I think a lot of it, if they do decide to sack him, would be down to that. And, as a rookie manager, finishing in the top 4 in your debut season, I think it's a great achievement, to be honest with you. But Champions League is where he was going to be judged on, and I think that was probably made very clear to him when he took the job.
All right. Well, if Juve want Eddie Howe, they're going to have to get a move on because it looks like he's the Celtic bound. Here are the big games in Serie A this weekend. Leaders Inter are away at Bologna. Of course, all eyes on Juve in the Turin derby. Now, Roma are the only team flying the European flag for Italy. They participate in the Europa League and they're away at Ajax on Friday morning, our time. Right. Finally, we go to Spain, where this is your current top 6 after 28 matches played. 4-point buffer between Atletico Madrid and Barcelona, and then 2 points further back are Real Madrid. So there is a fight going on there. But of course, this weekend in Spain, it is also the Copa del Rey final. It is Bilbao against Sociedad. I saw that and I thought, my first thought was, Bob, why are there so many Basque teams always competing for the Copa del Rey? So I looked it up, and apparently the Basque country absolutely love it. They have the trophy's been lifted on 30 occasions, apparently 23 times by Bilbao. So it is an all Basque final again. But isn't it strange? It's like I don't know, Liverpool and Everton dominating one cup forever.
Oh, the FA Cup, wouldn't it? I mean, it is Spain's equivalent of the FA Cup. Yes, perhaps a little bit of Barcelona and Real Madrid taking their foot off the gas in the Copa del Rey, with the league being paramount historically. I think that the UK is the only country where the cup competitions have historically had great importance. And there was a time when the FA Cup seemed to be a greater triumph than winning the league. And there were even debates about who wanted to win which most and this sort of thing. I mean, it sounds incredible now, but the FA Cup was absolutely the competition. And it's taken a lot of foreign managers a while to realize just how important it is. Even now, I mean, they're surprised. I mean, it's declined enormously in importance, sadly. But it's still taken relatively seriously compared to other countries. So that might explain it. The big boys have not always taken it seriously. Although Barcelona did, of course, when they won everything for Pep in his first season. That was one of the trophies, naturally. So waffling on about this because I can't give you chapter and verse about the lineups for this particular game, I'll be honest. But you asked me why the Basques dominate, and I try to give an opinion on that.
I'm going to back that up with a stat. 26% of the Copa del Rey have gone to the Basque country. It is a region that makes up just 4.9% of Spain's population, or 1.4% of its landmass. You don't just watch us for football stuff. You learn on this podcast as well. So, yeah, the Copa del Rey final, big for the Basque country. The rest of Spain won't be watching it probably. Real Madrid are back to league business. They take on Eibar, who are fighting relegation. For Real this season, Des Corkill, you look at the big money signing and Eden Hazard just jumps out at you. Bulk of their money spent there. They lost Cristiano Ronaldo. They gave the 7 shirt to him. They thought he would be the man, but no.
Well, he's been badly injured to defend him.
He's always injured.
Yeah, but they reckon it's there's a possibility if he needs another operation, it could be career-ending. That's how bad it has been for Eden Hazard. I think it's an ankle problem. I don't profess to be a medical doctor, but reading the reports about Eden Hazard, his career is under real threat, which for a player who has thrilled so many and such expectations around him in Madrid when he went is very, very sad. And it is a big problem. It's compared with England, Van Dijk going out, you lose your superstar player. And of course it has an impact because a lot was expected of him. And whoever comes in is a reserve. They're not as good theoretically. And Hazard at his best was just genuinely world class. I did expect him to thrive in Madrid and in Spanish football. But injuries take their toll. It's a short career if injuries kick in. That's why you can understand some people taking the filthy lucre as early as they possibly can. But this is a sad story. As for Real Madrid, well, they've still got an outside chance of the title, but not as good as Barcelona, who, incidentally, are chasing a double because the Copa del Rey semi-finals are on the 18th of April because the Copa del Rey at Sociedad versus Bilbao final
is last year's final.
It's last year's final. So I was pondering, surely the players registered for last year are eligible to play in this year's final. I was really wondering how that works in terms of registration. completely out of the blue, that one. But no, Real Madrid, everything, I think, for them, you were talking about how Liverpool have got to take the Champions League seriously. Real Madrid season, once again, I think could rest on the Champions League.
Yeah, perhaps a bigger loss than Eden Hazard, quick Marias, is Sergio Ramos. Because we heard not only, well, he's obviously not available this weekend in the league game, he's also not available for both legs of the Liverpool tie as well.
Yeah, big loss for Real Madrid, and in a time when they're obviously not having the best of seasons, they need their best players, and he's certainly one of them. He's won everything there is to win in the game. Very decorated, and he's a big influence on the team. So I think I think everyone was probably looking forward to that. Ramos and Salah. Reuniting back on the field, but that's sadly not going to happen. But it's good news for Liverpool, isn't it? The star defender, the captain of the team, not being available, it's good. But I think for Real Madrid, when we're just talking about them, they've actually them and Barcelona have come under a lot of criticism this season, a lot, from all of us, and rightly so at times, but. If you look at the form table over the last few weeks, they've picked it up. Barcelona have just gone on this incredible run of wins. Real Madrid haven't lost. They dropped a couple of points here and there, but haven't lost, which is important. And now is where it gets hot. As Fergie said, squeaky bum time. And it's all about stringing those results together and. 4 points, I think, is it from Atletico to Barca? It's still very much in play. It's still open, and that's what we love. That's what we want to see. Rather than Barca or Real Madrid, just continuously storming the league by 10 points or 15 points, and it's just been too easy. It's going to be a great end to the La Liga season, no doubt.
Okay, obviously the biggest game in Spain this weekend is Sevilla in fourth, taking on leaders Atletico. You've got Barcelona away at Valladolid, Real Madrid, we said, playing Eibar. There is also the Copa del Rey final happening, and Spain in Europe in the Champions League. It's Real Madrid against Liverpool on Wednesday at 3 a.m. And in the Europa League, Zagreb against Villarreal and Granada against Manchester United. Those are Friday morning kickoffs in Malaysia. That's a very short look then at La Liga, at Serie A and the Bundesliga. I say thanks to Bob Holmes.
Thanks, everybody. Enjoy some good club football this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Thanks to Craig Marias.
Thank you. Have a great weekend and enjoy the football.
And thank you, Des Corkill.
And it's Cardiff versus Nottingham Forest in the Championship. Don't know how you didn't get that one, Craig. Not with Bob and me involved.
Brilliant stuff. Enjoy the football. We'll see you next week. Bye now.